Hello, everybody. Welcome to Transcendental Waves. I'm Jeff Bailey.
And I am Michael Burrows. We have a guest with us today, Miss Kandace Scott.
Hi, I'm Candace Scott.
And today we are going to be talking about surprises that we learned about America. Um, Jeff, what was one of the biggest surprises that you ever found out about America? And how old were you when you found that out?
Oh man, this is a. I guess that could be a giant onion done peel. I don't even know how to like. I mean, in in my early 20s, I found the Zeitgeist movies, and there's a lot of stuff in there that, for the longest time, I didn't know whether or not to believe or not believe. And to be honest, if you watch the movies or haven't watched the movies, there's some crazy stuff in there.
I've watched those movies and they are awesome. Candace, have you seen the Zeitgeist
I
movies?
have not seen those.
Oh my God, you got to check those out next time you get a few minutes.
I mean, there's a lot of like stuff in there where it like makes you question the economy, the war machine. I mean, just a lot of different things that underlie America's dominance across the world. I'd say that would probably be the
So how old were you when you watched those movies?
like I said, early 20s, and I mean it was a that's why it was just like, whoa, wait, this is the exact opposite of what we've been taught. So I don't know what to believe here, and it took a lot of digging, and I mean, just the way like I mean, just as easy as like the government could lie to you, like I mean, so could all these sources on the internet. So like I didn't know whether like I was just being shown a lie about my government that was so great. Is this propaganda from somewhere else? Like, so I mean, it took several years for me to. I'd say probably in my like late 20s, maybe even right around 30, before I was just like, yeah, the system is rigged against us. And like we've been lied to about how like all these other countries are way worse than here, and we're like the best in the world.
Yep. All right. And Candace, what about you? What's like the biggest thing that you realized about this country, and how old were you? What's that story like?
I think probably the biggest thing that impacted me was working in the foster care system. I think just seeing how broken things were and how kids would fall through the cracks because of policies that could have been waived and had been in the past, but then weren't allowed to anymore. And kids were getting hurt because of it. And then on the same note, some kids getting hurt because they were being waived too much and like there were no homes. And so there's placing 10 kids in one home that isn't manageable, that you couldn't, nobody can do that. It's not possible to meet the needs of 10 different kids with different trauma that came from different backgrounds and meet all their needs
Yeah.
as one person or one family.
Oh man.
It's crazy to expect, yeah, like one person, I mean, to handle that many different like traumas, like you said, and different triggers and different emotions, especially at different age ranges. And, like the system's just that seems unfair to even expect one person to do something like that.
Yeah. And in other countries, it's not like that. It's like they have time off of work, mandatory paid time off work by the government. Like when you have a kid, and it's so much more vacation time. And man, when I started realizing this thing, I watched those same movies, Jeff. Only I was in my young 30s when I started watching those. I was about 32, 33, and I was watching those videos. And then just like you, I was like, okay, we got to go fact check. And I started doing research about all these statistics about what country stacks up by stat, and just saw that America was the not leading in anything. But my whole life, I was told we are the best and the freest, and we have the best life expectancy, the best health care, and our taxes are going to good causes, and Our financial system's the best system. And I believed it all until I was in my 30s, and then it just come crashing down. And that was my big eye opener. But then, as an international traveler, multiple times, I talk to people about like I'm from America and other countries when I'm traveling, and they're just like, "I'm sorry for you. I would never send my kids there. We chose colleges and universities in different countries, but we would not pick America. You know, the rate of deaths over there, the murders, the mass shootings, the prison rates, the felonies, and everything. They're just like, it's terrible." Um,
And the crazy thing is like, I mean, you said we're not really number one at anything. Well, the thing is like we are number one in a few things, and it's really like depressing statistics that we're number one in. I mean, the only one that like we could stand by that you could be proud of is we make the most money in the world. But if we're the richest, most powerful country, and we have we spend the most money on the military. So if we're the richest and most powerful country in the world, you'd think we would at least have our act together and not have like some of the highest homeless statistics for developed countries, highest depression rates. Like we spend the most money on healthcare than anywhere else in the world. And I mean,
it's like our citizens have the worst life compared to any developed nation, it seems like, and they don't even know it.
and we're taught to believe like a lot of these other countries are like taxed higher than us that get free healthcare and free education, and it's like if you add in the cost of what education or healthcare cost in this country plus our taxes, we're spending twice, two or three times the amount of money these other countries are in taxes and not getting the same stuff in return, having to spend way more on the open market for these things. And like we're not getting a substantially better health care.
We're not getting any better health care, and we're running around brainwashed thinking that we are.
I mean, even the regulations, like for food, are so different. Like in other countries and in Europe, like they aren't allowed to put some of the things they put in our food in there. Like my daughter can't eat bread here, but if she was in Europe, she would be able to just go get bread and be able to eat it, and it wouldn't affect her.
And she wouldn't have to worry about what kind of bread it was, right?
Right?
Because
Yeah.
the standards are so much different with the ingredients over there, aren't they?
Yeah.
Man, I know exactly what you're saying. I've seen the studies about so many different things. One of the last studies I saw was the coffee in America is like the worst grade of coffee anywhere. When no other countries health inspectors will pass coffee to be sold to their citizens, America buys
I'm
it.
sure, man. That's the craziest thing is like we we are spending the most money out of anywhere in the world on just about everything you could list in like that people want, and we're getting the short end of the stick on everything. We're getting like the lowest quality food, the lowest quality products. They,
Lowest quality health care,
yeah,
lowest quality happiness. Man, it's like, and we're sold this American dream to get a house and get like cemented and anchored into this country so you don't leave and go. But I'm telling you, once you go, you'd be a fool to want to just stay here when you see all these paradises and heavens and different cultures and ways outside of where you're chained down to here.
I mean, my biggest thing is like I don't even I don't even want to leave. Like I want to make this place better. I want to make our systems hold themselves more accountable. Like our politicians, like I said, we pay a lot in taxes already, and if we like I would be willing to pay more taxes if I believed in the politicians here, but I just like the way our government seems to be slowly funneling money from the public people to private interest and back to politicians. It's just like this like spiral of our money just like
And it's not even slowly anymore.
no, it's not even slowly or I don't even feel like they're hiding it, but I mean some people would still deny it, I guess, but it feels pretty obvious that like I mean a lot of these like crises or epidemics or wars even seem to be manufactured in a certain type of way to where certain groups and certain interests are making a lot more money at very rapid rates.
Yeah, it's just a happenstance, right?
Right.
Just accident, and lots of people just keep getting rich, for killing people.
Halliburton didn't go away; it just changed names. Like like stuff like that exists, man. Like then it just like keeps the machine just keeps on keeping on, and we pretend like we're solving the problem, and America's the one fixing everything. But it's like we're one of the biggest players in whatever like this globalist agenda is that everybody's afraid of. I mean, we're the richest, most powerful country in the world. Like, why are our citizens some of the most oppressed in the world?
Candace, what do you see your tax dollars go to as a citizen of this country to, you know, bullshit things and just see your money squandered a way that you wish you wouldn't?
I think there's a lot of ways. I don't think there's enough focus on helping people. It's more of a focus on like ways to make more money and to like for people to just gain.
Yeah, I see what you're saying exactly.
Well, even earlier, I mean, you're talking about in foster care, if they had some of those kids instead of, 10 people in one household, if they had it to where they could spread those out five, as many households as possible. I mean, I think that, like, especially some of these kids with special traumas, as much one on one attention as possible would be
Oh,
amazing. And if we had a
absolutely.
system that actually cared about helping people and fixing people.
Well, and on the opposite end, there were parents that there was a stay-at-home parent, and like that is what this family did. Like that was their passion, and they worked together and had a support system, and they would want to adopt more kids, and they were like, "Well, no, you can't do that because that's too many, and like this policy prohibits that." When like it was the initial place that those kids went from their home and they wanted to keep them and they wouldn't let them.
I've seen so many things that do not make sense in this country, in this state, and it's just mind blowing.
The other day at the doctor's office, they wanted my social security number and I was like, "No, thank you." And she's like, "Oh, well, it's a state law." And I haven't looked it up yet. She gave me a website that there's a law now in this state that came through in January saying we have to give our social security number to be connected with our account. I
Hmm.
was like, "No, thank you."
Wow, you never know, man. I'm telling you, I've seen this state pass so many laws that violate things.
Okay, so I think a lot of people, like complain about like the illegal immigration and stuff like that as far as like if we just have free health care and all that, like that I mean, that'll like collapse our society because of stuff like that and it's just I mean, personally, looking around at how much we spend on a free market health care and like free market like I mean education, like I feel like if we have enough money to help handle a lot of this immigration. I mean, we could.
Oh yeah, we definitely got enough money. We just are spending it on bombs and bullets, and giving it to defense, munitions, and research people. Like what Candace said, we need more resources for people and for humans to live. This is supposed to be the most prosperous country, and if we're sold that it's like the best place to live ever, actions speak louder than words, and America's actions are shit compared to actions of other governments that support their people. And the other thing Candace said was that she feels like the money is just, getting squandered and sold or bought. It's just going straight to the politicians because they invested in these companies that we're spending their tax dollars on. So when Lockheed Martin gets $1 billion, all these investors are getting returns on their shares, and they're the ones that voted to spend the money on them. And it's just ridiculous.
yeah, man, and that like we're just given a bunch of different people to be mad at and told why this like I mean, in her case, it's kids that are like, we just don't have the resources. We can't feed it. It's like there's homeless veterans in this country. Oh well, we just don't have any resources to help keep them off the streets or to keep them off these crazy antidepressant medicines or
Right, we don't have enough resources as the country with the highest GDP in the world. I
right.
mean, if we don't have the resources, but these other countries do.
But then Japan has a basically 0% homeless rate. Like that's the thing is like
Also, they got like one of the highest life expectancy rates too.
Yeah.
we're just taught like that we don't have the capability to do any of these things, and there are countries out there that have proven that it's possible. And if we're the richest, most powerful country in the world, which those are two stats that, like, I mean, are basically undeniable. America has the most money and has the biggest military, and
I mean, if you just look at compare Japan as an example, I haven't done this yet, but let's just say you compare Japan to every single stat you could research compared to America about every statistic for quality of life. I bet Japan beats America in every single one of them. And if it does, why, if you live in America, are you not looking to migrate to a better place? To where you can live a better life. That's what I want to know. And then your answers are going to be, I'm too poor to move. I've got family here. You know, well, get your family. Why would you not want to bring your family to a Garden of Eden? You know,
if you think this place is so great and amazing, and there's places out there that do it even better, wouldn't that be pretty cool to go?
I'm
Yeah.
telling you,
It would.
sometimes people are just so brainwashed, and I used to be one of those people. In fact, I was one of those people that was like joining the army, trying to like say we are the best. You know, America number one, baby. And then I go and see, shit, America's not number one.
I don't know, like since my early, or late teens, early 20s, I was kind of like off the bandwagon of America's the best, but we've fallen further and further down the rungs as I go, but I still see the like the sea to shining sea. We have like if you look around the world, there are different things that make each one of these cool places very awesome. Like, but America has like from sea to shining sea has so many different types of like little cultures and little environments. It's like so many different places, and it's just like we do have the like potential to be one of the like coolest places on the planet.
Oh,
Oh, for sure. I mean, but it's
but
got to
it's the
take a
people.
change. It's the people.
It's the
Yeah.
people, and I'm telling you, man, the people in America compared to other people are just so close-minded and ignorant of
Yeah, it's our
new
ideology. We're taught to be that way.
our
Our
traditions
public
and
school systems
ideologies
are
Right.
terrible.
are so far behind. It's almost like you just look at these people as helpless. It's almost like how the Northerners look at the Southerners like, backwoods, like, no shoe wearing hillbillies, like rednecks, like, oh man, uneducated people. Well, that's how the whole rest of the world looks at America. It's not just the Northern, looking at the Southerns. It's the whole world in America.
And our big pocketbook and scary military keeps most people just leaving us alone. The fact that we have military bases all around the world and we
Mhm.
spend the most money making bullets and missiles than anyone else in the world is what keeps us on top.
People in other countries are laughing that we make the most money and have the biggest military, and yet our people have a worse quality of life. I mean, that's kind of interesting, It's I guess it's not that funny. It's more sad, but it's one of those things that really makes you go, hmm.
Do we live inside the Hunger Games? Are we part of that? Like, are we part of the globalist agenda that everybody here hates so much? I mean, like I said, we're taught to hate poor people, people of different colors, people of different religions. In America, I think we're taught to hate more than anywhere else in the world. Like, and
From
people,
anything I've seen, that's true, and I've been to a lot of countries and
I
stuff.
mean, yeah, I mean, and people will argue that's because we have the most different types of people here, and it's we're still like America's like a social experiment. Most of these other countries that have lower crime rates or lower like different stuff like that, they have a very less like diverse population, and a lot of these like tinier, smaller Icelandic countries. So like people argue those kind of facts, but to me, it's just like to the core, like people are people, and America is what like we could be that like shining example of how people from anywhere on this planet can survive and do it, like and live together. Like we've built an empire here that I mean, if you want to make money, something that's important has more of it than anywhere in the world you'd think. Instead of having our top 1% deciding where all that money goes, like
I think a lot of people, think the founders of this country came for freedom, but really they were entrepreneurs coming and like almost like a modern day gold rush. They were coming to make money. It was profitable for them. It was a capitalistic venture. They made these corporations to go and made investments to go over here. And so I guess America then got fed up paying, taxes, and they're like, no, we're going to keep more money to ourselves. I mean, it's just been greed ever since they first landed. Uh, I mean, I wish it wasn't that way. And it seems like we're led to believe it's not that way. But, actions speak louder than words. And that's one thing that's one thing that always holds true is actions speak louder than words.
yeah, because to be honest, the like Constitution, Bill of Rights, Declaration of Independence, like you're taught those things in school, and I don't know them word for word, but it's just one of those things where it's just like, oh, those are beautiful documents about inalienable rights that all men hold, and then you realize that like they never really meant all men, and at first it was definitely only men, and we've had to give women like rights in this country, and there's been some hurdles to like true human freedom, and we've been working our way there along the way.
Behind the curb of other civilized countries. Like, we're not leading the way in these things.
No, these are things that like I mean the quote unquote patriarchy, the system, whatever you want to call it, I mean, has just like I said, we're taught to like divide and not like each other, and like it's little things here and there, but
I mean, but I think we're trying to come together. I mean, I think technology is bringing so many people together. You used to have to be so smart and educated and resourceful financially to learn. To go to college, to get go to school, to buy books, to even get to a library, to know how to read. Now you can just pick up your phone and watch documentaries and listen to any book in the country. It's amazing the things we can learn now, and our eyes are being opened. And hopefully we can just be more like, Bob Marley and bring people together. And, maybe even marijuana can help with that. I've seen marijuana bring people together so well.
most
And
of America thinks the same.
yeah,
Like I
most
mean, that's
states it's
another.
legal now.
I mean,
That's true.
yeah,
And just think, there's bar fights everywhere. Alcohol is dividing and making people angry. There's no one's getting like smoking weed and like getting in bar fights. They're just sitting on the couch, chilling, relaxing, getting a massage for their mind. We just need some more things like that. We need more vacation time. We just need our taxes to do better things for us. So it's not just work, work, work. I mean, go look into vacation time. Look into paid vacation time in other countries that are developed and compared to this country. And you will be like, we are effing slaves compared to people in other civilized
well,
countries.
that's the thing, dude. Okay, so like we're like quote unquote waking up this whole like, and I agree. Like I'm seeing the world wake up, but I'm encouraging America to start doing it at a more rapid rate because I'm watching other countries fight for retirement age or farming regulations. Like we have been like those countries are fighting policies that we allowed to run us over. Like that's the thing is like these policies are started here and in other like Australia, UK, and other like imperialistic countries have started these policies, and now they're starting to spread out. And there's a lot of countries that are fighting back, man, and like starting to revolt and like
Dude, I don't know. Maybe it's going to be our next political, year or something. But I mean, I think we're getting to a boiling spot.
right,
Uh,
like we
Oh,
gotta
for
like
sure.
we gotta actually like wake up.
Yeah, I mean, I heard I saw something today where statistically at the same spot we were in 2007, and people was not in a good spot right then either. And if we're in that now, I feel like our trajectory is going still declining.
I mean, we've had like different financial analysts and like inciting that we were our like economy was going to collapse for like the last several years, basically since COVID, and like
And it just
I,
keeps chugging along.
yeah, I can't
Hmm.
decide if they're just like putting out a soft cushion, getting us prepared for like something really bad that's coming, or if they're just going to keep printing out money and slowly sending it to all the Black Rocks and Vanguards and pretending like they're helping us. Like, I mean, I do like these stimulus programs and stuff have slowly kept a lot of families afloat here and there, but at the same day, like
They ain't gonna last
we're not fixing our systems that are creating these problems.
No,
Like,
Right.
there's so many things we could do differently, and I don't, for whatever reason, probably just money and greed and lobbyists and stocks that we don't do things differently. But one day we will. One day.
one day,